Hello and welcome back to the TGP Wrestling Podcast. Now, bit of information to start off with. We talked Christmas special. We couldn't get people involved in it, but have no fear because me and Chris are back with part two of our WrestleMania predictions. And I will be honest, I don't think I've got a single match that's exactly the same as the first one round. So, Chris, I don't know about you, but I'm going to be changing pretty much everything here.
I've probably got a couple the same, but other than that, yeah, everything's just mixed up compared.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard though, wasn't it? Like that's the thing. I found this really difficult. Um, I think that when it comes to Mania, it's it's obviously a lot easier after Royal Rumble, isn't it? That's the problem. We don't know what's going to happen really until after the Rumble when it comes to the main titles, anyway. But even like separating everything out, you're looking at it this way, and if you know who wins the Rumble, you know they won't be in the main title picture, which means that you might be able to put them somewhere else. Do you know what I mean? Like, so that's kind of where I was stuck anyway.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. Like, you've got a few main eventers where you kind of know they're going to be up there, but there's only two main events, one on each night, and we've got quite a lot of people that could main event. So it's like you have to guess who wins the Rumble to then put them in the main event to then who's not going to be there.
It's tough. It's very much tough. I went back and forth on mine for quite a long time, to be honest, and I think especially in the main events, you're looking at the main events, aren't you? And you're probably thinking like, well, how on earth are they going to make the main event like anywhere near what it was last year for both nights? They've got a tall order there, aren't they? As well, like just to start off with.
I think my matches will compete against those.
That is hard.
I low key think I've cooked. To be fair,
Okay, well, I'm going to let you go first for your night one anyway, because I'm very intrigued to see what you've said.
you want to go match by match
Okay,
this
yeah,
time.
yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
I'll go with my first match of night one, and then vice versa. Go through it like that. So my first match of night one is the World Heavyweight Championship match, and I've put Gunther, who'll be champion, versus John Cena.
For match one, night one.
Yeah,
Okay.
John
Okay.
Cena will be opening. I've got Gunther to win though.
Ooh.
I've
Okay.
I've got Cena losing his final Mania.
I see. I like that, and I'm not going to spoil mine, but I'm going to talk to you about mine later on. So
Mm. But
but
I think Cena will be chasing throughout the year. That's what it is. He's gonna have a couple side quests to do as well. Get over the younger talent a little bit. But I do feel like he'll be chasing, and it'll be the final match he'll win.
do you kind of feel like the chase is going to be more interesting than the because I think with this sort of stuff, the chase is often more interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, the chase will be more interesting, and it all depends on who the final match is against and who he wins it from, and that will make it even more better depending who it is.
Hmm. Okay. Nice. Do you want me to do my first one on night one now then? So like we'll just do one you, one me.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've gone for Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss, who I've been trying to do as much information as I can online to find out whether she's going to be cleared for Mania or not.
Mm.
And I can't really get a straight answer. So I think it's fairly unknown whether she'll be cleared for Mania. In this scenario, I would have it be an open challenge. So Nia Jax go out and it's an open challenge, and out comes Alexa Bliss. Now I would have Alexa Bliss win the title, and then have Tiff cash in on her. Just an
Okay.
ultimate load of piss boiling to the crowd that would be really happy about Alexa Bliss winning. For Tiff just to be like, nope, I'm going to cash in on you, keep it in the family type thing, with her and Nia Jax being good mates.
Okay. Do you reckon Bliss will come back without the White Six kind of stuff?
I kind of hope she does, to be honest. I think that she did really well at that. By the way, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like yeah, no, no.
No disrespect to Wyatt Six, but like it's not been top tier in my opinion. So if everyone wants Alexa Bliss back, staying away from that might benefit Bliss in the long run.
Yeah, that's kind of where my head was at, to be
Mm.
honest. And they could come back to it, but yeah, I think for now that's not the way I'd go. I would go just Alexa Bliss coming out as Alexa Bliss.
That's fair. So you got Bliss winning, but Tiffy cashing in.
Yes, yes, as my little twist.
It is. All right, that.
There we go. Right, do you want to go to your second match on night one?
Yes, so my second match of night one is a women's tag team championship match. And I've got the champions Io Sky and Kairi Sane versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I feel like Blair and Naomi will drop the titles. I do think Naomi was the one that attacks Jade Cargill, so she can get a hold on the title. Um, and if they drop titles to any tag team, I think the only tag team that can have the belts on the main event, on the main event, sorry, have the belts on the PLE again will be Io Sky Kairi Sane. And then obviously I believe Liv will drop the title before Mania, which I'll get to. And I think Nia Jax will drop the title before Mania. And Nia Jax and Candice LeRae got a little buddy going on as well.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I've got Io Sky and Kairi Sane coming from that as well, winning.
Okay. I like it. I do like it. I think this is the thing. We were talking about this before, weren't we? That there's so many titles now that trying to get them all on the card is difficult enough. And I'll be honest with you, I don't have the women's tag title on the card.
I don't even have the new women's mid card titles on the card.
So I do have the women's mid card titles on the card. I will say. Um, well, I don't have the IC one. I just have the US purely because we don't know who the IC champion is going to be yet, as of time of recording.
Mm.
And I don't know. I just kind of feel like it's. I'm not 100% sure where they're going to go with it, so I wouldn't even want to speculate what's happening with it. I know we're going to know in a couple of weeks' time, but then we could have just waited to record this. But I don't think waiting to record this for that title was probably worth doing from our
Yeah,
side.
100% not.
Um, okay, well, we'll move on to my match two then. I'm I'm not confident in any of my matches, as in like that they're going to happen. And I know this one of these people is injured, but he should be back relatively soon. I've heard like it's not like a long term injury. I've got Bron Breakker versus Bronson Reed
Okay.
for the IC title. Um, I just think that that'd be a really good match. Um, and they're really pushing Bronson Reed. I would have Bronson Reed win that match as well, which I know won't please many people to see Bron Breakker lose his title, but the way that Bronson Reed is being pushed, I just feel like he will win that title at some point or a title at some point. So that's where I go with it anyway.
Yeah, I can see Bronson Reed winning about this year uh, easily. Like, obviously he's out with, was it a broken ankle or something like that?
Yeah,
So it all depends on when he is back. But I can see a Reed versus Breaker match at Mania cooking
I just think
quite
it'd be a good
easily.
match as well. Like I mean, like as when you're making these cards, every single match that you place has to be placed like perfectly, really, doesn't it? Like you've got to because you don't want people getting bored halfway through a certain match. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
you want this to kind of sort of come in and out and in and out and rise and fall type thing. So that's what I've gone with anyway.
I like it.
I think it should be some good fun.
Should I crack on to my third?
Go for it.
I've got the men's IC for my third match.
Okay.
I've got Braun Breaker versus Sheamus versus Karrion Kross in a triple threat.
See, that sounds very realistic.
Yeah, that obviously we've seen Breaker and Sheamus go back and forth from time to time in the recent months. But so to make it extra like saucy, I've just threw an extra name in, Karrion Kross. And I really like Karrion Kross. I think he's really underrated. It's just he's been poorly booked by WWE for quite some time. And I think a little cross dynamic between the both would be entertaining. And I've got Sheamus to win to pin Cross, so Breaker doesn't get pinned. And Sheamus gets his Grand Slam.
I think it's inevitable at this point that they will do the Grand Slam at some point. You would hope.
If not,
Um,
it would be a crime.
so I kind of I mean I like it. I think it's interesting. I think it'd be. I think it's one of those matches that has that potential, doesn't it, to sort of steal the show as well as a
Yeah,
match.
100%.
Um, cool. I like it. I like it a lot. See, I feel like one thing I've tried to do really, like, tried to do my best, and I'm sure that you have as well, is I've tried to get as many people involved as possible
100%.
because there's so many people I don't want to leave off the card. Do you know
You
what I
see,
mean?
you see that Man Night too.
Right. Okay. Okay. I won't spoil anything then. Right. So moving on to my third match. I'm going to put this out there to you now, and you know full well I don't want this match to happen. I'm doing more of a prediction than anything else. I've got
Logan Paul versus Cena.
I've got Logan Paul versus Bad Bunny.
Oh, bad. Oh, even worse.
I think they'll double up on the celeb. Well, because I know Logan Paul is technically a WWE superstar, isn't he? He doesn't class as a celebrity anymore in the terms of like celebrity matches. He is a WWE
Mm.
superstar. So I don't know. I just kind of feel like this would be a really shit match, but I just see him doing it.
I, I'd, I'd enjoy it just for the occasion, in a sense. Like it's the first time. I don't know if it's the first time ever or in a long time where two quote unquote celebrities are going at it, but it's the first time where two talented in ring performer celebrities are going at it.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Like, as much as we pretty much all unanimously don't like Logan Paul, other than Robbie, um, he can go in the ring. I think it'd be really unfair to say he can't. So yeah, I feel like this is the way to go. Because then, without me sounding really horrible, and I kind of feel like I'm going to just sound horrible at this point, you don't waste um, you don't waste somebody else, and you get both of these guys on the card in one match. And I kind of that's where my head was at
Yeah.
really.
No, I get that.
So yeah, no, I don't want this to happen. I probably won't enjoy this match. However, I think it would be a good idea as just to get them both off the card.
No, that's understandable.
There we go. Right, next match for you.
My fourth match of the night, I think, could be match of the year.
Okay,
Um, it's my SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. I've got
okay.
DIY versus Fraxium.
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking match of the year, you're talking basically two teams that are just insanely good in the ring. I don't,
Yeah,
I don't have a concern about that match. However, do you think Mania for an NXT call up team is going to be? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you think that they will make that adjustment? Because obviously, Axiom and Nathan Fraser are both great, but I feel like the only issue you might have is that WrestleMania is a lot of casual audiences, isn't it?
No, I do get that. Obviously, it's a match that's not going to happen just for that one of the reasons. And if Fraxim does get called up, it'd be after Mania. Um, but yeah, I've probably booked it like a year too early. Um, but it's just a match I just want to see. And having it at Mania would be great. Have all eyes. It'd be like all the casual viewers will have no idea who Fraxium are. But after that match, you'd be like, right, I'm tuning in for Fraxium matches now.
I mean, if you've not seen a Fraxium match before, obviously go and watch. Like if you listen to this, I'll go and watch NXT because they are both
Watch any match
brilliant.
of them in, honestly. Like,
They are five-star match machines. I don't actually know if Uncle Dave's given them a lot of 5-star matches or anything, but that doesn't really mean anything in 2025, does it?
no, he throws 6.5 matches out there for shitters. And
Yeah.
it's like, who cares at this point, honestly?
But no, I'm not shitting on your idea. I think it's a great idea. I'm just saying, like, I think it depends what way you do in the list, doesn't it? Because if you do in the list as like this should happen, or this would be really cool to happen. I've done like a mix of both.
Yeah.
But right, I'll move on. So my match 4, and I'm moving on quickly because we've done 16 minutes and we're halfway through night 1. Um, So I've got Eric and Ivor against the Alpha Academy, against the Creed Brothers, against AOP in a tag team title ladder match.
I love that. Anything to do with ladders, I'm there for it.
I feel as well with this match is that you've got Eric and Ivor are both big boys. AOP are both big boys, right? One of the Creed boys is quite a big boy, and then Alpha Academy, one of their teams, quite a big boy. The amount of spots and moments you could have in a ladder match specifically would be really, really fun to watch. And being the 4th match on an 8-match card, I think the 4th match needs to be really fun. I think you need to have a match that gets people back into it or like switches it back up a little bit
Yeah.
before you get into the heavy hitting main event type matches. So I've placed this 4th on the card for that reason, and I would have Alpha Academy win it. Just think it would be a really nice moment for them to get the dub. And obviously, the Creed brothers are in this match. Chad Gable is going to be involved somewhere, but Alpha Academy winning would be great. I didn't actually say who I wanted to win out Logan Paul and Bad Bunny, really, because I don't care. But I would have Bad Bunny win.
Yeah, just shit on Logan Paul more by having Bad Bunny win.
Just make him keep losing. For me, that would be
There's
great.
there's one thing I could see them doing again is to have both tag titles in a ladder match at the same time like last year. I know last year was just purposely for the split, but I feel like to have more names on the card and one extra match spot for other people to have both tag titles in at the same time in the same match, and because it was fun last year, to be fair.
It definitely was, and I think we were all quite concerned going into that match that it wouldn't work, and it did.
Mm.
My only thing is that I don't, I don't know. I sort of set a way to say this. So I don't want to see that happen because I don't want those matches like put together because the SmackDown Tag Team Title match I've got is quite a high profile match. It's not just
Yeah,
it's not just a tag title match. It's quite high profile. So I wouldn't want that to happen for my card. But I think if it does happen, I think it'd be quite good again.
yeah, it's one of those things with title matches. Like the more people you put in the same match, it like diminishes more of the story behind it.
Yeah, yeah,
Whereas
right.
like a 1-on-1 or 2v2 for the tag
Mm,
titles has like a story built up for it purposely for Mania because Mania is like the end or beginnings of stories. But if it's like a multi-man match, it just feels like a throwaway. But sometimes they need to do at least one of those just to get all the names on the card so that people can have a paycheck, basically.
mm, yeah. Right, we'll move on because we've got to fire for a few now. So your match 5.
Match 5, Drew McIntyre versus Bad News Barrett, Wade Barrett.
Oh, see, I've seen this rumored so much. I would love to see this, and I really hope this happens.
I
It's
think
not.
at continue, sorry.
It's not what I've gone with, but I do really want it to happen.
Yeah, like obviously the tease a little bit of like a couple months ago during the Punk feud, and I
Yeah.
feel like if there's anyone that will make Wade Barrett still look great is Drew McIntyre.
I've gone for a different angle with Drew, but I think, to be honest, I'd prefer yours to happen than mine. Is all I'll say.
You got Drew McIntyre versus Jake Paul.
I don't, but I would absolutely love to see him take Jake Paul's head off. That would be
That'd be fun.
absolute cinema, wouldn't it?
100%. Right, your match 5.
My match 5, I've got CM Punk versus Seth Rollins in a first blood match.
Oh, you don't even have him in the main event.
My main events are there, mate. Like, and this is the problem, right? Yes, I could have had this as a main event, and objectively, it potentially deserves to be a main event. But both of my main events are too locked in. Do you know what I mean? I don't think I could move either of my main events. I know that Punk might not love that, but I can't squeeze it in. I'm assuming you've got this match on the card. I think most people would have this match on the card somewhere.
You never know.
No, he's not giving anything away.
Who's to say?
Right. I don't need to talk too much about it though, because it's obviously heavily rumored with a lot of people. So,
Yeah.
your match number 6.
If you have the Rock main event in, at Mania, you've definitely got a Punk heel turn down the line there, 100%.
Yeah. I know.
My match 6 is Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens, and a no holds barred match.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
that type of match is a Mania kind of worthy match. I don't know when Randy Orton's going to be back, but obviously he's out for kayfabe, isn't he? Really? What
Yeah,
Kevin Owens doing?
he's also got quite a build-up of injuries in the neck issue and stuff that I think that I'm not saying this is his last Mania because I don't think it is, but I think that I would put him in a match just in case this turns out to be his last Mania.
Yeah, it'd be his last high profile Mania potentially, just to work like a big story, whereas Manias to come could be just like fun matches really, or putting over a younger talent. But obviously Orton could easily come back at Rumble, eliminate Owens, and then kickstart their feud again. Or like Kevin Owens that got Cody at the Rumble and in another match.
I
Owens could
think,
be Orton could
yeah,
get involved, you know?
yeah. I think that I know a lot of people have been saying Orton versus Cody. I just don't want to see it that much. One, I don't want to see them feud. But two, I'm not saying that obviously Randy Orton isn't enough of a draw for the Cody match. Obviously he is. I just feel like I don't know. I don't feel they'll do it. I don't know about you. I don't see them pulling that trigger.
I don't think it needs to be for the title either with Matt history that's between them both.
Yeah. So I'm kind of no on that one. But I understand that people will think that it should be a yes. I don't know. I wouldn't do it, and I haven't done it. But it is something that other people might do. So look, I'll move on anyway. So my match 6 is the Judgment Day. So Dom, Finn, Carlito, and JD against Damian Priest, Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, and Andrade in an elimination tag match. Now the reason I've done it this way is because one, I wanted Andrade on the card. If I'm honest, I wanted Andrade on the card to take the title off Bron Breakker. I think anyone that knows me knows that I'm a massive Andrade fan, and he's one of my favorite wrestlers in WWE currently. I just don't think that they're going to do that. I don't see that that's going to happen.
Mm.
So I haven't gone all in on that because like I said, I don't see that as a viable option at the minute. But I would probably rather see that if I could choose between one of these two scenarios. I would probably rather see Andrade win the IC title. But I've gone for this match because it leaves a lot of fun sort of things that you can do with it. You can leave Dom be like the last person in Judgment Day against like Ray and Priest, and that'd be a really fun moment. Like you can have Dom go over on Ray and them two be the last two in the match and Dom win and get that sort of win back. There's so much you can do with it. And I do want to see all of them on the card. So I just think this kind of makes sense. I mean, people might hear this and go, oh, it's a bit of a boring match. It's a Raw match. That's not a Mania match. I kind of disagree. I think that all of these people in this exact scenario is a pay-per-view match. Maybe whether it's a Mania match or not is a debate for itself. But I think it'd be a fun match. I'd like to see it.
That'd be fun.
But we'll move on to your match 7. So we're nearly there for night 1.
So it is the Women's WWE Championship match. And I've got Tiffany Stratton, who will be the champion, versus Charlotte Flair.
Oof.
I think Stratton will cash in at Netflix Raw. Big
Okay.
occasion.
Yeah, big moment.
And obviously with Raw being on Netflix now, it can bring in some audience that don't really necessarily watch WWE that much. And it'd be a great way to introduce what the Money in Bank is and how it works, ready for when it comes back in May or June or whenever it's back. And I think Charlotte Flair will win the Women's Rumble. And it'll be a kind of passing of torch. I've got Charlotte Flair to win, which may not be a fan of people, but like they can do a rematch at SummerSlam or the year after, which Tiffany will win, and it will give her a bit more time to build even more so to make her like more of a main event. Because right now she doesn't feel like a main event, even though she should be.
Okay. Okay. I like it. I like it a lot. And not to spoil anything, I also have Charlotte Flair winning the Women's Rumble.
Oh,
So I'm not. I don't think that gives anything away. I'm just saying. I am just saying. So we'll move on. So my match 7 is Jade versus Bianca, last woman standing. I think these two have the potential to have an absolute. I might say that it's like in a really like over the top way. I think you'll know why I'm saying it though. I think they could have one of the best women's matches of all time.
yeah.
And I think adding the last woman standing stipulation to it adds an extra layer. And I have Bianca being the one that attacked Jade. Maybe not directly, maybe indirectly attacked her, ordered the attack on her, but was involved in her getting attacked, essentially.
Yeah, because seeing I can't see that. Bianca Belair is just too much of a face. That's why I'm like, would WWE go down that route?
If they don't go down that route and they want to do this attack angle earlier and have it not be and have Jade be the one that turns, that's also fine. In any case, I want to have this match. I really want Bianca versus Jade at Mania. I don't mind which way they do it. I don't mind if it's who's the heel. I want them to do it as a match.
Mm,
That's it really for me.
I fuck with it.
So your main event for night 1.
I've got Bloodline Rules. Roman Reigns versus The Rock.
Oh, night 1.
Night 1, of course it's night 1. It's not the WWE Championship, is it? So
Okay. Okay. I mean, look, I love it, obviously, right? I think me and Kyle were quite vocal last year that we wanted, well, when like they were sort of petitioning Cody to be the one that, like, faces Roman and stuff. Me and Kyle were probably the only people in the world that were like, we kind of want to, we kind of want to see Rock and Roman as well. As much as obviously I wanted Cody to win the world title, and I was really happy when he did. But yeah, me and Kyle were very much in the camp of we want to see that match at some point. So I ain't going to complain. Is all I'm going to say.
yeah, and I think if Rock's ever getting involved in Mania, it'd be main event only. That'll be in his contract or something. He won't do anything other than main event.
Well, why would he though? I mean, like the Rock is the main event in any pay per view he's involved with, and I think that if he's anything less, then they've done it wrong anyway.
Mm. The only other match I would have Roman Reigns in at Mania would be him versus Jacob Fatu. But I think that'd be too soon for Jacob. And I can't see Roman Reigns on the card other than a main event.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. I mean, I'm very excited for the possibility of what they're going to do. So let's do it. Let's lock that in for you. So my match number 8 is a match that you've got already.
Ooh.
I've got Gun for John Cena main event.
Love that.
I don't want John Cena anywhere on the card other than the main event. I know that CM Punk might not like that, and I actually think that you could maybe swap a few matches around, do Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss in the CM Punk spot, have Punk and Rollins go on first or last and swap it about a bit. I wouldn't do that. So yeah, I just wouldn't do that. I think that Cena and Gunther is going to be a really, really good match. I think that that's maybe what they want to lean to. And I agree with your point that I would have Gunther win. I wouldn't have Cena go over here. I wouldn't have him end this quest to break the record in April. I don't think that that's how you set up his final year properly, unless you had him win the IC title later in the year, so he's done everything. But I think you're more likely actually to see him win the IC title at Mania than you are the world title.
Yeah.
Although I wouldn't do that, I think you're more likely to see that happen. So, yeah, I mean that's night one locked in.
I mean, the only thing I would want to see him, if he wins at any title early, I want him to do open challenges week after week.
That was probably one of the best things that WWE have done in a really long time. So I think that a lot of people would be in complete agreement for you on that one, me included, because I think that I would love to see that. We're going to have to move on very quickly here because we are already half an hour in. So night two, I'll start on night two. We'll mix it up a little bit. So I've got Liv versus Rhea versus Charlotte versus Becky for the women's title.
A lot of names.
It's a lot of names, and it's a lot of names for a reason. Look, I was just going to do Liv versus Rhea and then do Charlotte versus Becky as just a match themselves. However, I felt I don't want to. I'm not like crapping on Liv versus Rhea, but because they've already done it, and because it's been a very long-standing feud, I don't know that you could stretch that to Mania at this point and just have them two have a match. And if you do it, sorry, I don't want Rhea to win the Rumble either. So I'd either have Alexa Bliss come out at 30 and win the Rumble, but I don't think you need to do that. And I think doing it as an open challenge is way more interesting anyway. And also, I would have Charlotte win the Rumble because I think it'd be really interesting. And I think she comes out at 30 and wins the Rumble. I don't know. I just like to see that maybe more. So that's what I'm going with. Thoughts, opinions?
I like it. It's going to be a big match. You've got 4 big names in there. Like you say, you don't need Bliss to win the Rumble. Charlotte Flair winning would be great. I mean, Charlotte Flair, there's a lot of fans that don't really like Charlotte Flair as much, but being this much time away as she had, recovering, she'll get a pop regardless at Rumble. And yeah.
There we go. Well, let's move on to yours.
Wait, who you got winning that match?
I got Charlotte winning it.
You got Charlotte winning it.
And as the biggest Becky Lynch fan to ever grace this earth, it pains me to say that Becky wouldn't win that match, but I just feel Charlotte winning it would make more sense.
Okay, I'm going to do a quick honourable mention. Chelsea Green Open challenge for her US title, and Becky Lynch comes out.
That would be stunning, but I also kind of don't want Chelsea Green to lose the title. And she would have to in that scenario.
Yeah. But I feel like it's something they could possibly go down the route for, unfortunately. My number 1 match for night 2 is the US title, and it's a ladder match. I've got Shinsuke Nakamura going as champion versus Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes versus LA Knight versus Jimmy Uso versus Joe Hendry.
Oh, okay. You've thrown some names in there.
So Nakamura, Andrade, Hayes, and LA Knight all got, for recent history, it all makes sense. I think Jimmy Uso would be like, I want to do what Jay did and go for solo belts instead of going back to the tag team and make a name for myself in that way, which I'll do have Jimmy Uso winning.
Okay.
And I'll throw in Joe Hendry in there because I do think he's going to have a Rumble spot. And I think it could be a thing where people get into, and he's going to get a contract, I think, for WWE itself, in my opinion.
Okay. Oh yeah, I like it. I mean, again, it's a smart way of including more people in the card as well, isn't it? I think that is really hard to do.
You got the high flyers of like Andrade Hayes and Jimmy Uso in there as well, being a ladder match and all.
Yeah. No, I like it. I do like it. Um, okay. Well, let's move swiftly on to my next match, which is for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. I've gone DIY versus Jacob Fatu and Tamatonga versus Jimmy and Jay.
Okay.
Tag titles street fight. I think that'd be really, really, really fun match. I think the only danger of that is that DIY might be a little bit kind of pushed to the side of all the bloodline beef and all that. But I think that it would be a really, really good match. And I added the street fight stipulation because I feel like, especially the bloodline beef, that makes a lot of sense. Um, and yeah, I just think it'd be a really, really solid match. I would have Jimmy and Jay win just because I want them when they retire, I want them to go down as the greatest tag team of all time, and I don't want there to be a doubt. And I already think that that's what they are personally, which I know is probably a hot take, but I don't want there to be any shadow of a doubt that they are the greatest tag team of all time. So any more wins, more stuff under their belt, I think is only a positive.
And with that,
So yeah,
you can easily have like DIY and Jacob and Tama to like feud it down a bit leading up to it, so it doesn't feel like DIY is just an outcast in the feud. You can like interject him into something like that makes more sense as well.
yeah, there's loads you can do with it. It's not just a case of like, oh well, it's just going to be an extra team added in there for the sake of it, just because they're champions. I do think there is something you can do with it. So yeah, no, I think it's really really solid. I think it'd be good.
I rate it. My second match is the Raw Tag Team Championship, and I got
Okay.
the War Raiders versus Rey Mysterio and Penta versus Dominic Mysterio and Logan Paul.
Ooh.
Dominic's
I
been on a podcast recently. You know what
yeah,
happens with Logan Paul on his podcast?
I've actually seen this suggested. One match I'll put this out there. One match I nearly pulled the trigger on was Rey Mysterio versus Penta. Um, and I don't regret not putting it in, but I kind of think that would have been insane. Like having the greatest luchador of all time against, you know, Penta being one of the greatest Mexican wrestlers to ever to do it as well. I kind of feel like that would be so good. And I kind of forgot. It sounds awful. I kind of forgot about Penta until the last minute because I know he's signed with WWE, isn't he?
Yeah.
So I kind of forgot about him. So he's actually not on my card. But there's always going to be someone you forget, isn't there? Like you can't. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
there's always going to be one.
But no, I very much like your match type there. I love the team of Logan and Dom. I actually think
Yeah.
that there's a lot to it, just to piss spoil more fans, to be honest.
And you got Dominic and Rey Mysterio going at it again, third WrestleMania in a row. I do feel like, though, Dominic could turn face pretty soon.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Dom's really quite well loved, isn't he?
Yeah, he's slowly getting over. Knowing when you hate someone that much, that you end up loving them. That's what it is. And that's what it's going to go down for as Dominic. And it possibly will be a Dominic versus Finn at Mania, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be interesting. I don't know. I think it's difficult, isn't it? Because Dominic is so he annoys people that much that there's quite a lot you could do with him. And like I'm not maybe going as far as Corey on this one, saying that Dominic should win the world title at Mania, because I'm sure that's what Corey thinks.
Fucking hell.
But no, I think it's really interesting. I think it's exciting. I like it. Right, I'm gonna move on because again we are on the clock. Um, So match number 3, I've also got Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens.
Really?
I'm not going to talk about loads because obviously, you talked about it, but I've got them in a Hell in a Cell instead. So just a different situation there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just makes sense. I just say you get them both on the card. You give them a really high profile match at Mania. Both of them look good coming out of it. I'd have Randy Orton win personally. I think it makes a lot of sense.
I like it.
Right, move on. We're rolling through them now. Match 3.
My match 3 is one that you already got already. It's Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill. I just
Yep.
got mine as a standard one-on-one match, really, because it's just a match that you don't really need a title for.
Yeah, I mean, again, you don't need it to be a stipulation match. You could just have it
Mm,
be a one-on-one. They're both that good. I just wanted mine for like an extra layer. You definitely don't have to do it. And I think it's nice that we're both in agreement that that match should happen, and I believe it will happen.
100%.
So, match number 4. This is my Drew McIntyre match. I got Drew McIntyre versus Joe Hendry.
Okay. Like
I,
that.
I, I just like it. I just like it as a match. I think that you could build a really good story that Drew McIntyre is really annoyed that he doesn't have like a title match and a big match and all this sort of stuff. If you want to have it be an open challenge, you can. I definitely wouldn't. I would build it as a feud where Joe Hendry keeps getting the better of him on like Raw or SmackDown or whatever it is. Just keeps getting the better of him. Just keeps really pissing him off, really boiling his piss. We've seen that with Drew, and then Drew absolutely annihilates him in about 5 or 6 minutes. Not that I think you should squash Joe Hendry. I just don't see him being any more than a comical character in WWE. Not in the same level as like R-Truth, but I think that I don't know. I don't know about you. I don't see Joe Hendry ever being like a massive success in WWE. I see him getting a pop, and I see people liking him. I don't really see him challenging for titles at any point.
The only titles I can see him do is mid cards, and if he's booked correctly, the fans would push WWE to have him at least have world title matches. Not necessarily that he'll win the title, but like they pushed LA Knight to go against Roman Reigns. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just don't think that Joe Hendry's going to get to that level that that LA Knight got to. So I don't know. I think it's kind of it's kind of interesting, isn't it? We'll see what happens. I
He will
suppose
have a world title match at Clash of the Castle, Clash at the Castle kind of stuff. That's what I think
potentially,
WWE will give him.
potentially, yeah, potentially. So, but no, we'll move on. Provide us with your next match, if you please.
My match number 4 is Damien Priest versus Finn Balor. In a stipulation match, but I can't really think of what stipulation. Really, obviously, it's probably dragged on too long, but with the Raw over to Netflix and all that stuff, potential people going to SmackDown and Raw, it could separate them a little bit, but then lead up to the actual final match at Mania, and then after Mania, you can actually put them on each brand, so they don't see each other for like 2 years again.
Okay, no, I think that makes sense. I think it's like you sometimes. I mean, I definitely do this. Sometimes I overbook and fantasy book stuff too much, where WWE will just have matches that are just one-on-one matches. Just show them what
Hmm.
they can do. And obviously, you said that you put some sort of stipulation in, but again, if this was just a one-on-one match, it could be because I think both of them are very talented. So, no, I mean, a match that goes without saying that makes a lot of sense. I did it a bit differently because I had it be a multi-man tag match, but one-on-one also works.
Yeah, like I could be like Hell in a Cell, but would they have one even though they had Drew and Punk in October? I could think about doing an I Quit match, but an I Quit match doesn't feel like a Mania kind of stipulation. And I've already had no Holds Barred for Owens and Orton, so it's like I can't really think of what they would add into it if they do.
Yeah, I know I get it. It's a difficult one with all the stipulations and stuff. Obviously, I've done quite a few stipulations just purely because I think they add to the particular matches. Um, Now, I'm going to do my match 5. I'm going to say this to you now, mate. This is well out there. I think on I think on every Mania card there has to be one match which is just completely bonkers
Okay.
that you're going to listen to and go, that just makes no sense. But just hear me out, and I'll explain why. I've got LA Knight versus Goldberg.
Okay.
It's completely out there, and it's so random. But my logic behind it being, I want LA Knight versus Brock Lesnar. I kind of want to give LA because LA Knight, if you look at like merch sales and stuff and all that sort of stuff, he's still one of the most popular guys in WWE.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm not a massive LA Knight guy, but I think that I have to respect the fact that people really like him. Like I did with Daniel Bryan, but I definitely like LA Knight a lot more than I like Daniel Bryan. So I'm just getting my little Daniel Bryan dig in there. But yeah, look, LA Knight versus Goldberg for me is. I would have done Brock. I just feel that Goldberg is more likely at this point in time because
Yeah.
he hasn't been cancelled. So, which is bizarre because he's a pretty controversial guy. But but no, like I just feel like LA Knight versus Goldberg, it would be really fun as well. You can't understate how fun that match would be, and LA Knight would run rings around him with promos and stuff. Because Goldberg can't, he hasn't got the best promo, does he? Really?
No, not really. He only says you're next or you're last.
Yeah. So like I don't know. Like it sounds bizarre, but now you've heard me say it. Would you like to see that happen?
I would like to see it. I remember last year, I think one of your bonkers bookings was Lexus King teaming up with Seth Rollins. And I think one of the biggest known reason for that is because they have good beards.
Yeah, I mean, I stick by that take. Would you not have enjoyed to see it? I
I would
love
like to see it.
What do you mean? Like, Lexus King has won a trophy since I said that. He's doing well.
Fair enough, yeah.
You After my bizarre match 5, then that is my only bizarre one. The rest are fairly straightforward now.
I've got a bizarre one now, so.
Okay.
But it still makes sense a little bit story wise. But I got New Bloodline versus White Six.
Oh, I would actually love to see this.
I don't know how they can book all of that between now and April with what Bloodline are going in with currently and all that stuff and being on different brands. But it just makes sense 4v4.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have White Six on the card, just purely because I don't see anywhere they go with their feud or who they go to. So
And how
I
it
think,
fits, yeah.
yeah. So I think you've definitely added something really interesting there. There's one thing I want to talk to you about after we've done the full card, very quickly, but there's not enough time from now until May to make it happen. But I'll tell you after. So
Okay.
got an interesting one. No, I like that as an idea though. I think that White Six have been kind of in a very strange place so far. Like they haven't really. I wouldn't say that they've succeeded so far. I wouldn't say they've failed. I think they've just kind of plateaued. I think WWE in a very awkward situation with them because it's like respecting Bray Wyatt, but also making the new team really appealing. So it's finding that balance, isn't it?
And if White Six thing is like targeting people who turn backs on families, New Bloodline's one of them in a sense.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I like that. I get that. I'm gonna move on to my sixth match here. Nice and simple. Chelsea Green versus Oscar for the women's US title. Oscar's fitness and health is obviously questioned at the minute, but I think she'll be back for Mania.
Officially back for Rumble, to be fair.
Yeah, there's rumours she'll be back for Rumble. So I just like this. I know it brings an end to Chelsea Green's title reign. I feel like Chelsea Green winning the title was more about her winning the title than it was like holding the title. Do you know what I mean? Like the moment of her winning it was great, and we all loved it and really enjoyed it. So I kind of think that that's more important than her holding it for 6, 7, 8, like 12 months, whatever. And Oscar's a really good person to lose to in a way because she's obviously so decorated in WWE. She's very well respected. She's a strong opponent in the fans' eyes. Do you know what I mean? So like it kind of makes sense if she loses it to somebody like Oscar.
And it can get Chelsea Green a little bit over as well to make it come closer to win against Asuka, or make fans back her a little bit more as well.
Yeah,
Like fans might root for Chelsea Green just because she's the underdog.
and you could also do a double turn if you wanted. If you only made that match like really interesting, you could actually have
Yeah,
Oscar be the heel. Because I mean, Chelsea Green's not a. I wouldn't say she's a traditional heel right now. Anyway, like she's so well liked, isn't she? That and the crowd is so behind her, and she's so over. So actually, she's kind of a bit of a tweener as it is. But
yeah.
right, your match 6. Hit me.
I've got a weird one. So I've got a heel turn before Mania. So I got Sami Zayn versus Jey Uso.
And who's the heel turn with Sammy?
Sami would be the heel, yeah.
Okay.
Don't know
I was,
how they'll go down to that route, but
I was about to say I wouldn't turn Jade because the merch sales is like,
yeah, 100%. But it's it's a match with it's one of those matches at Mania with emotion,
I think it'd be really good as well. The storytelling would be fantastic in that match.
and it will give um you know Jey Uso a little bit more credit compared to his match last year, which wasn't great.
No, so you're kind of trusting. Well, you're well, I say trusting is the wrong word. You're having the Usos be separate still. You wouldn't have them reunite for a match of Mania. You would have them just stay separate.
Yeah, stay separate.
See, I don't mind that at all. And I think that I was trying to find 2 matches for them that made sense to have them stay as single stars rather than as a tag team again. I just felt that I feel as successful as they both are, and I really hope that Jimmy wins a singles title one day. You'll probably still remember them both most fondly as the Usos. So that's kind of the route that I went down. But no, I like it. I do like it. I think that'd be a really fun match. And to be fair with Sammy, I've always much preferred Sammy as a heel. I know that he is a good baby face. He's one of those guys that the crowd get behind, and he's a really good plug and play baby face, isn't he? Like you kind of if you need like just a baby face to insert into a feud, put Sammy in there because the crowd will be behind him.
Yeah, Sami Zayn is one of those that can just do both quite easily. He's a proper heel to hate, and he's a proper babyface to like.
Yeah, I mean, I've been very critical of Sammy on the pod in private. It's actually nothing to do with him. I love Sami Zayn. I think he's great. I think that he is like so insanely talented, and he's a very valuable member of WWE. I just feel like sometimes it was just the way he was booked and the way that things went about. I wish it was a bit like I don't know, but
Mm.
nah. Like I think it'll be a really really good match. Good shout. Right, we will move swiftly on to my 7th match, which is a chance at redemption, Chris. Because I would argue that this match, once upon a time, was one of the most hyped up matches of recent memory. And it's a match that I was so excited for, and it really disappointed. It was okay the first time round. I think it has the potential with both guys knowing that this is probably like their not last chance at Mania, but like last chance to do it together. I've got Nakamura versus AJ Styles to the US title.
Okay.
I don't know how close AJ is to coming back from injury, but I want to see it again, right? Like these two are two of the best wrestlers in WWE, point blank for me. And Nakamura's new run with the US title is going really well so far. I think that AJ's a better face than he is a heel. I think he's a fine heel. He was a great heel in Japan, but I think the way that he was used in WWE, I don't know that being a heel worked for him. Um, so I just feel that having AJ as the baby face against Nakamura for that title, I think I think it'd be match of the weekend for sure. I think it would be absolutely brilliant. Give them half an hour to go at it, right? I would leave it without a stipulation, but if you wanted to make it like a 30-minute Iron Man match, go for it. But I would have it just be like no stipulation. Let them go out there and show like they are two of the best in the world.
Yeah, give him some redemption from the shitter that they had back in 2017 or something like that.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It was a bad match. and it's nothing to do with either of them. It was just the pacing; they weren't given enough time. It was I would just give them half an hour, and like I say, if you need to make that an Iron Man match, make it an Iron Man match, and make it like Brett versus Stone Cold levels of like that Iron Man match feel, or just have it be that sort of dream match. The only other one I considered was like Nakamura versus like I looked down the roster and I was like LA Knight. I was like, oh, I don't like that, and I thought Nakamura versus Lesnar because again, that I think that would have been just incredible. I think we would have all loved to see that and have Nakamura go over on Brock Lesnar. But again, the Lesnar stuff's very. I struggle to make a card without Brock Lesnar. I don't know you, but like I feel like he fits into so much, doesn't he? So it's like without not having Brock Lesnar now for completely valid reasons, by the way, but not having Brock Lesnar now kind of made it harder for me. I mean, you may not give him a second thought, but for me, I was like,
But if Brock Lesnar was around, I'd put Brock Lesnar, Jacob Fatu in a heartbeat.
oh my god, this is the problem. This is the thing with Lesnar. You can just put him anywhere, can't you? And it will work.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't be giving Brock Lesnar this much praise. So we'll move on. so your match 7.
I got Women's World Heavyweight Championship match, and it's Rhea Ripley versus Asuka.
Yeah, I mean, just a really solid match. So have you got Rhea winning the title at Rumble or?
Whenever she has the next opportunity against Liv, yeah. I think last 3 Mania she's won Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Asuka. Like 3 top names in a row, which would cement Rhea Ripley even more. But I like Asuka to win, to be fair. And you've got Io and Kairi Sane winning the tag titles back in night 1. So then you've got Damage Control with all the titles, and then Dakota Kai possibly got the RC Women's title as well.
Yeah, so that means it's a nice all the gold scenario there that makes a lot of sense. And to be honest with Oscar as well, I think she deserves the flowers a bit more. I think that she's been extremely underrated in the last couple of years. Obviously, I've got a win in a title match, not the same title, but I've got a win in a title match as well. So it's nice to see that we both went down the respecting Oscar route, isn't it?
Yeah, I like Asuka quite a lot, to be fair. Even in the goofy stage that she had, with dancing with the title and stuff, back in the COVID year.
Yeah.
Even that, she just did it great.
She just does everything well. I think it's a fair thing to say. I'll move on to my main event because I might need about an hour to talk about my main event.
I'd be the same, to be fair.
Okay, so I've got a fatal 4-way match.
Oh, God.
I think you kind of know who the fatal 4-way match is between at this point because they've not been mentioned yet.
I've got 3 of the names. I can't think of the 4th.
Cody.
Oh, I know the 4th. Yeah.
Cody, Rock, Roman, Solo.
Yeah.
Look, I think this is definitely a case of too many cooks might spoil the broth with this one. However, I know that Roman Cody was a 1-on-1 match, but it wasn't a 1-on-1 match, was it?
No.
We had about 6-7 people involved in that match. And I think that this would be great. I also think it helps The Rock because I know that a lot of people have got The Rock in the main event by himself with Roman or with Cody. I wouldn't feel comfortable having The Rock be in the main event by himself because what I don't want to happen is I don't want it to disappoint people. The Rock is one of my top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time. I love The Rock. I think he can still go in the ring. I've got no concerns that he can't go anymore. I just think that you run that potential, don't you, of like having him in there as a 1-on-1. And I think in a fatal 4-way, you'll get to see the best of The Rock whilst also including everybody else in that match. And I would have Solo win this match.
Would you?
Which is a massive turn for me because I've always been very critical of Solo, that I thought he was pushed too soon. But post last Mania, when he's obviously said that he's now the tribal chief and all that, I don't know. I just think that he's become the guy. With Roman Reigns not really being here, and I think I don't know. I just feel like Solo winning this match is the right call. Roman doesn't need to win it. I don't think, right? The Rock winning it would be a good moment for sure, but I don't think it would make loads of sense. And Cody losing it in a fatal four way where he doesn't even have to be pinned protects his character long term as well. I think Solo's the right choice in this, but I've said a lot there, so I'll let you sort of unpack it a bit as well.
No, I do like it. It protects Rock a little bit more as well, having three people wrestle each other whilst he's just sat down resting if he's took out, and then he can just do his spot moves like he usually does.
That's kind of my thinking. Yeah, it's all respect to The Rock, by the way. It's not that he can't do it anymore. It's just that
Yeah,
at his age and stuff, with ring rust and all that, you kind of want to protect him as much as possible because you want him to be the superstar he is. And really, with The Rock, he's always going to be known mostly for the promos and the build up to the matches and stuff because he is the best. I think The Rock's maybe the best talker of all time, or he's certainly in the top three
yeah, 100%.
with maybe Punk and like so. Yeah, that's my main event. I have Solo go over, and I think that establishes Solo as the new megastar heel in the company.
Yeah, for sure. That'll benefit me a lot.
But I'm very intrigued. What's your main event? I've been eagerly waiting for this.
I've got Cody Rhodes, for obviously the men's WWE Championship. Cody Rhodes versus Punk versus Rollins.
I actually forgot that you didn't have Rollins and Punk until
Mm.
just now. Where was Solo on your card? He was in the. Was he not?
In the New Bloodline versus Wyatt Six match.
Oh, of course. So you'd have. Oh, right. Yeah, you'd have Solo in that. Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
I love Solo, Jacob, Ambi, Tamatonga, and Tangaloa. That one.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, for this triple threat match, all have history with each other, don't they? Really, Rose and Punk from AEW, well, not AEW in a sense, but you know they came from then, and they've had history back in WWE. Got Rollins versus Rose recently for a couple of years ago. Rollins Punk very recently, and I probably have Rollins to go over. To be fair, pin Punk just to boil Punk's skin a bit more, and Rollins being heel. All of that. I wouldn't want Rose to win because I do think Rose needs to be without a title for a bit now.
So I might be controversial in this take that I would have Punk go over in that match.
I wouldn't mind Rollins or Punk, to be fair.
I
And
don't.
also, you got Punk having the main event at Mania, which he wants. You've got Rollins versus Punk, which helps, and you've got Cody Rhodes for WWE Championship main event at Mania, which would want that. That's what WWE would want to happen as well. So it's a win-win all around, in my opinion.
I kind of think that your night one main event has more star power than your night two main event. Would be my only concern. Um, but if you think about it, last year's night one had more star power than night two, and night two was like somehow even better. So it could be like one of them scenarios, couldn't it? I suppose.
Yeah, but obviously, I feel like both stories, so Roman Reigns and Rock, with a Punk and Rollins feud, interjection with the Cody Rhodes stuff, has both stories are on par with the amount that the fans are interested in, I believe. And the way I would work around this, I've already briefly touched on this before on like a Discord chat when I was watching Saturday Night Main Event. Um, but like Paul Heyman's favor could literally be having Cody Rhodes go to SmackDown, go to Raw. Sorry, with Gunther going to SmackDown. So the only thing that Punk needs to do now is win the Rumble, so he can guarantee his main event at Mania because he knows that Rhodes is your ticket there. Rollins is like mindset, especially if he loses against Punk on Netflix Raw now, is that Rollins would want Punk again. So to have that, he needs to prevent Punk from winning the one Rumble, in which he fails to do so. Then Rollins interjects himself into the Elimination Chamber match for number one contenders for World Heavyweight Championship on SmackDown, which he wasn't invited for. He ends up winning. Then a little bit of talking back and forth between Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce, going, well, he qualified for the SmackDown title, but then Aldis going, but he's a Raw superstar. And then the triple threat match will just go from there. And they can do another way around on who to first Gunther at Mania and which Cena will win.
I think it'd be an amazing match anyway. I think the thing is, no matter how it's set up, I think it'd be an amazing match. Interesting, your men's Rumble winner would be Punk. Mine would be Solo in this scenario.
Hmm.
You could do Rock or Roman win it, to be fair, but I just feel like giving Solo the Rumble win and then the title, you're just giving him like a mega push that, to be fair, at this point he deserves. Like I said, I've been really critical of him in the past, but I think he deserves it. Now, I kind of have an interesting one for you, Dan, and this actually links into what I was saying about what I would have coming out of Mania. So you talked about obviously CM in both our scenarios, Cody loses the title, right?
Yeah.
Is there a scenario in which WWE properly and commit to this, make a Bullet Club type thing happen, and have Cody, Finn, AJ, and then Gallows and Anderson, and properly commit to a Bullet Club type thing, and have Bullet Club versus like the Bloodline later down the line? Do you think that that's because it's been floated around with a lot of people? And Cody Rhodes, I look. Everyone knows I'm a massive Cody Rhodes fanboy. I absolutely love him, and he's one of, if not my favorite wrestler on the planet right now. But Cody Rhodes is a fucking good heel. I mean, if you've seen any of his heel work, he's a very good heel. And I think having like a truly dastardly heel bloodline scenario, I think would be really good in the current landscape, especially for Netflix. So where were you at with something like that happening?
I can see Cody Rhodes getting turned on by the fans this year. Not just over online, but as in visibly being booed in arenas. If WWE don't take the title off him too soon. So I can see him turn on the fans in that way. But I do like the aspect of a Bullet Club in WWE. Obviously, they had Balor Club with Finn Balor and Gallows and Anderson. They've had AJ Styles with Gallows and Anderson as well. So that kind of quite easily interject. But I do like the idea of a Finn Balor push, probably going solo this year rather than being interjected into another team again. But I feel like if there's an opportunity to do Bullet Club in WWE, time will be perfect this year with the people they have in the company.
I think the thing is that okay, yeah, sure, you could look at the scenario and go, "What they've sort of done it before," and like my thing would be there, and I think you probably agree. They never really committed to it. They did it, but they didn't commit to it.
Mm.
That's the way that I'm sort of looking at this. That they didn't go all in on it. They didn't go right. This is what we're doing. These are our guys. We're doing the Bullet Club thing, and that's what we're doing. We're going all in on it. They kind of just dipped their toe in a bit. The fans really liked it, and then they sort of backed off. I don't know the legal ramifications behind it. I don't, because I know WWE and New Japan do have a working relationship in the sense of they'll mention each other, but obviously New Japan and AEW have the true working relationship, similar to WWE and TNA. So I suppose that's where it gets difficult and murky, and you probably can't use the Bullet Club in like logos and all that sort of stuff. I don't know what you'd call it, but I just think that it would be a really fun idea. But if you don't do the Bullet Club thing, I still think turning Cody heel after Mania is the right thing to do. It's just
100%.
it's just WWE. Do they feel they've got the the really established babyface to step in and take over from Cody?
So you've watched The Boys now, haven't you?
Yeah, all of it.
Cody Rhodes' Homelander.
So I've seen the pictures online of Cody Rhodes as Homelander. Obviously, Cody loves Homelander, and he kind of like models so much stuff over like the Homelander gear and all that sort of stuff. And he kind of like even the hair and everything, like it's so good. And it's like I don't know, you could definitely do something with it, like not obviously completely like copy Homelander's thing, but having work, like having get Anthony Starr like with him and stuff, work with him and stuff, establish that kind of character and stuff, and you can make something really good out of it, couldn't you? Like, there's definitely that sort of potential. I don't know. I'm all in for seeing Cody be a heel, he'll be an amazing heel. I just think
Yeah.
WWE at the moment have a problem, I think, where they don't have enough established baby faces and they have a lot of established heels.
Well, I mean, there's a thing in it, like a theory or whatever, where one person has 5 years in them to create stuff in the company, and after that fifth year, they run out of ideas and it goes on a down low. So they need to rehire someone with different ideas and stuff like that to interject. And obviously, Triple H right now is coming up to his like 4th year or something like that. So sooner or later, he'll probably, if he's smart enough, he knows the business and all the lingo. He knows himself that right. I'm slowly running out of ideas here, and I don't want to like recreate ideas that I've done like 3 years ago because it'd be too repetitive. So he needs to hire someone else about it. And I feel like the person to go down that route is probably a Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
And then create new ideas. I think if Cody Hero's heel turn, even though I did talk about obviously the boys and Homelander, I think if he comes out with black hair randomly, just cement his heel turn as well.
Well, yeah, because that's the thing, isn't it? Like when that is a way to signify a change in someone is their hair. It sounds really silly, but like honestly, the littlest things make that difference. Look, we're gonna have to call this one a day, and I'm sure we can talk about. We could probably make a new video in itself on Cody Rhodes' heel turn and how we'd book it. I'm sure that's a video idea that we can bank. But for now, we're gonna have to go. We've been here for over an hour. If you're still here right now, fair fucking play to you. By
Hit
the way.
it.
You know what I mean? Like, if you listen to us ramble on for over an hour about WrestleMania, then fair enough. You are an absolute legend for doing that. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Chris, I'm going to thank you for your WrestleMania card, and we'll see what happens with that. And Chris, I'm sure we'll be watching Mania together. We'll reflect after Mania for a Mania review. We'll talk about how many we got right
Yeah.
and how was the card in general, and if our card was better. I would
I
say it
I
probably was.
believe that we both got 2 right, at least. With Bianca Jade and Kevin and Randy.
Yeah, I definitely think those two happen. I think I've got another extra one right with Seth and CM Punk, and you've kind of gone down that same route just with Cody. But we'll
Oh
wait.
yeah, yeah, you would definitely get that right. The only thing that I changed about that, because I originally did have Rollins Punk, but I'm like, they have a match on Netflix now. So if I do have a match, it'll probably be a stipulation, or they'll just throw someone else in there with history. We possibly got the gun for John Cena on White as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think the Netflix matches, I don't think there's too much to look into there because I don't think they'll happen just as is. Like Roman Solo is not going to be a 20-minute masterpiece of a clean wrestling
True.
match where someone goes over, is it? There'll be unfinished business from that match, and I think they probably will be from Punk Rollins as well. But yeah, look, we're going to leave it there. Thank you everyone for listening. We will see you soon for another video and Spotify episode, of course. Wrestling Therapy will be back soon for episode 2, so look forward to that in your feeds. And thank you very much for listening. 2025 is a year for TGP.